Hey, welcome back to Here for the Instagram Followers. I'm Willow,
I'm Maritza.
and this is our Bachelor Tea catch up that is like our little bonus episode because there's just so much and we just don't want to miss anything.
Exactly. And there's also way too much put in one single recap episode. So you're welcome for this bonus one.
Yeah, we can't be sitting there for 3 hours recording a whole long thing, and we know you don't want to listen to 3 hours of a thing. No one got time for that. So breaking it up.
There we go.
All right. Well, to start off, I had just started telling you a little bit of this tea. It's a little bit on some insight on what it's like, how cruel and brutal the Bachelor producers can be to some of the girls. Also, part of why I think this could contribute into the conversation of Ryan being super upset when she got sent home on our last episode. Um, Most recently, a person who was on super early season Bachelor, I'm talking, you know, first 4 or 5 years of the show. She had opened up to producers during the casting process a lot about the fact that she had actually just recently lost her childhood best friend to suicide, as well as her father to like a terminal illness. And that was really difficult for her. And so going on to the show, she actually got sent home night one. And they did a lot of interviews with her, kind of asking her, like, how did it go for you? How do you feel? And she was like, really, I'm fine. What's meant to be will be. Like, I'm totally fine with this. It's not a big deal. I wasn't super attached to him. And then, you know what they have the audacity to say to her is, well, I mean, how do you feel knowing that, you just lost your best friend to suicide because they just killed themselves and, your dad just died. And so really you're all alone and you have no one to love. And that's what makes this girl bawl her eyes out. And she went down as in Batch Nation as like a legend of one of the most dramatic girls to leave night one. And it's like, no, she wasn't being dramatic. The producers just mentally tormented her until she broke.
Why would someone think that's anywhere okay in the boundaries to say? Like
Not a
I'm
clue.
I'm really wow. That's just such a low blow.
Yeah. And it just makes you wonder, all these girls that go home, all these girls that hit their breaking point and are just bawling their eyes out hysterically, guys too. Like, what are they going through that they don't talk about, that they told producers about, all the
Like
deep
there's
shit.
so much more behind the scenes, behind the masks, like that we don't really talk about. And it's just like that being one of them. I mean, we kind of mentioned it last episode
Mhm.
how like Dylan Barber is expressing how these people have literally like mental breakdowns after that. Like they have mental illnesses after this. And like the producers, the Bachelor franchise, like they don't do anything to help these people who have like severe depression, anxiety, and like so much more after post show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just wonder what someone like Anna is doing, how she's doing, say, post show after leaving, because, you know, she really was a mess when she was on the show. And she said multiple times she's feeling like she's having a mental breakdown. She's at her breaking point. It's just too much. And, by the time she was leaving, the show really had broken her down by sending in Brittany, who she seemed to know, and having all of that drama. And in Anna's mind, she was still really honest the entire time, but she still got sent home.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, same thing for Brittany. Like, she got sent home after the whole escort drama
Yeah.
thing.
She's
Going
like, was I just
home,
brought on literally for drama?
yeah, basically, I feel like that's like she didn't even have like a fair chance, honestly. Like, her whole time there was just like bombarded with this whole escort drama. Like, she didn't really have the chance to really get into personally with Matt.
Yeah. Well, another person who didn't get to get super personal with their person on the season was Kelly Flanagan, who this is my tie-in to the Peter Weber news. Um happens to be back together with Peter. They their history is so weird. They started out having, when she went on the show, she already knew him. They'd hooked up before. And then she got sent home really early on. And then he had all the drama with
He got sent home
Maddie.
like the week before hometowns, right?
Maybe it was, but it still felt really early on in the process
Yeah.
after all the Maddie and Hannah Ann drama. It was just like a lot. Anyways, then he's been with her most of the time of quarantine. They broke up. We were super sad about it, and they're back together.
I know Barb was always a number one fan of Kelly, and Barb always has her ways. So I wasn't surprised when they got together the first time post show. But like, I just feel like, I was about to say Piper. Oh my God, Peter and Kelly are in two completely different like life paths. Like Kelly, she's a freaking lawyer. Like she is out here kicking ass and stuff in the law world. Like she has her life together. And then there's Peter, who literally like he's literally like a little boy who still lives with his parents. A pilot. True. Probably, but like he literally like still listens to his parents as like, okay, let's see if my mom approves of this and that. Like it's like childish. Like
as is Matt James, though, who happens to be a Black man who was dating Rachel, who happens to be a white woman who made fun of,
I love your tie-ins
allegedly,
in each one of these.
Yeah, my tie-ins. That's how we're doing it today. Connecting the dots, casual flow. Anyways, though, who Rachel happened to accuse in high school, bringing back to her drama, another fellow student who happened to be white. She basically made racist remarks towards her for choosing to date a Black man. And while it's been about 6 weeks, Rachel has failed to make a statement on it basically until now. This is bad. So on Monday, I think what brought this all about to the conversation was Chris Harrison went on Rachel Lindsay's podcast. We all know Rachel Lindsay. She is a queen in the Bachelor world. She was the first Black Bachelorette, really opened the world up a little bit to color, which has been so needed. Diversity is needed in the Bachelor world more. Anyways, so Rachel was really drilling Chris about the fact that other Rachel has not put out a statement about this at all. She's like, it's been 6-7 weeks now, and she hasn't addressed it. This is basically inappropriate. And Chris basically was brushing everything off the entire time. Everything that Rachel brought up. Rachel brought up the fact that other Rachel has liked posts of her friends with Confederate flags in the background. As of 2018, she attended a ball for her sorority that was an antebellum ball, which is basically a ball where they all dress up in Civil War Confederate side party regalia. They have Confederate flags. They have hoop skirts. Blue. They're wearing like the blue suits or whatever color it was. They're everything. They have like cotton pickers. It's a racist event.
Like she also like growing up, she and her family like they did like Native American, like they literally dressed. They did cultural appropriation to the Native American culture. Yes, and they did that not once, not twice. They literally did it multiple parties of it, many years of it.
Yeah, it's terrible. And I will say this, Rachel does not stand for what her parents have said in the past, which she has said because her parents have made extremely racist, extremely right side, right wing posts on Facebook that tend to be extremely offensive to a lot of people, anti-Black Lives Matter, things like that as well. And she did make a statement, I think, that she said, I don't associate with everything that my parents post, which, like, fair, we all know family members that have totally different political views than us. But this is also where she came from, and she has liked posts of Confederate flags. She has been at events with them. She has gone to a school that still practiced this in 2018. That's 2 years ago. It's not like that was a long time ago.
No.
That's like
And
racist
the
activity
thing is,
recently.
she might have said like, oh, I don't like I don't follow the same beliefs as my parents and stuff. Yet you're still showing support by like not speaking up about these things and still going along with it your whole life. Like, you could be like, no, this isn't right, and not like attend or like any of these
Yeah.
things, but yet she still continued to do that. And it didn't take her until 6 weeks to make a statement about it.
Yeah, and let me see if I can pull up this statement just to see if we can read it, unless you have it already.
No, but then also because Chris Harrison was kind of brushing aside what basically what God, Rachel Lindsay was accusing him of, basically.
Yeah, he was, and then he even had the audacity to say basically that, 2021 is a very different world than 2018 was, and what something you said that was wrong, that was totally fine in 2018 is wrong now. So we can't really blame anybody for what they did 3 years ago. And I'm like, no, things are still morally unacceptable. Like slavery is just as morally unethical in 2021 as it was in 1776, yet they still own slaves.
Exactly. It's just like, as long as it is, like, it doesn't make it okay, like,
Yes.
at all.
So,
yeah.
Did you want to read Rachel's statement, or do you want me to?
I can read it. Yeah. So Rachel posts her statement, which says, while there has been rumors circulating, there have also been truths that have come to light that I need to address. I hear you, and I'm here to say I was wrong. At one point, I didn't recognize how offensive and racist my actions were, but that doesn't excuse them. My age or when it happened does not excuse anything. They are not acceptable or okay in any sense. I was ignorant, but my ignorance was racist.
Okay.
I am sorry to the communities and individuals that my actions harmed and offended. I am ashamed about my lack of education, but it is no one's responsibility to educate me. I am learning and will continue to learn how to be anti-racist because it's important to speak up in the moment and not after you're called out. If you are a person who doesn't understand the offense in question, I urge you to learn from my mistakes and encourage you to use them as a teachable moment. As for my family, I love them and how they raised me to be my own individual. They have always encouraged me to have my own views, opinions, and beliefs. As I was thinking about what I wanted to say, I couldn't help but think about how sick people must be of reading these kinds of statements, how a person didn't realize the trauma that their actions would inflict on other people. It must get so exhausting. I want to put my energy towards preventing people from making the same offensive mistakes that I made in the first place, and I hope I can provide this to you moving forward. Racial progress and unity are impossible without white accountability, and I deserve to be held accountable for my actions. I will never grow unless I recognize what I have done is wrong. I don't think one apology means that I deserve your forgiveness, but rather I hope I can earn your forgiveness through my future actions. So her future actions, like, what is she gonna do? Like, go to like a Black Lives Matter march? Is she gonna
No,
like
she's gonna
donate?
get engaged to Matt.
Oh yeah, that's what she's gonna do. Wow.
Dude, I straight up think that producers have been telling her this entire time, or I mean, they can't tell her not to post something, but I think they've been advising her to keep her mouth shut just a little bit because she's going far. I think she would have made a statement early on if she wasn't making it like at least a final two.
No, for sure. I mean, we all know that she's gonna either win this thing or be like runner up or something. Like, she's going forward. I mean, you don't give someone Louis Vuittons if they're not going but far. So
For real. Yeah.
it's
And
just
so Chris Harrison follows up basically with, I think this was a response to what his interview with Rachael was. He says, "To my Bachelor Nation family, I will always own a mistake when I make one. So I'm here to extend a sincere apology. I have this incredible platform to speak about love, and yesterday I took a stance on topics about which I should have been better informed. While I do not speak for Rachael Kirkconnell, my intentions were simply to ask for grace in offering her an opportunity to speak on her own behalf. What I now realize I have done is cause harm by wrongly speaking in a manner that perpetuates racism, and for that I am so deeply sorry. I also apologize to my best friend Rachel Lindsay for not listening to her better on a topic she has a firsthand understanding of, and humbly thank the members of Bachelor Nation who have reached out to me to hold me accountable. I promise to do better." So this statement was released following a fire Chris Harrison and replace him with Rachel Lindsay as host of the Bachelor movement, where people have a petition that has already reached, I think, at least 15,000 signatures.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. And it's because Chris Harrison's extremely unwelcoming political stances that he tends to take. He has gotten kind of vocal lately and like up on his high horse, and people are over it.
Honestly, it's just, we need change in the Bachelor franchise. And if that means kicking Chris Harrison out and putting Rachel Lindsay in, like, it's something that the change that we need, like a starting change. Because Chris Harrison supports the fucking like white privilege, white like dominated franchise. Like he's basically the king of that. And then there's all like Bachelor Nation following him.
Well, I think this is the issue with Chris Harrison is he's been thought of as untouchable, right?
Exactly. I mean, he's been here since the beginning, but like, I think it's about time to say goodbye to him.
He's a little outdated. He's not as funny. I mean, there's a certain point where it just kind of gets creepy with the age difference and all that. These girls he's talking about sex with people who are as old as his kids are. That's weird.
Exactly. I mean, what, Kit is 21 and his oldest son just went to college. What is that like?
I thought that was his youngest son.
That's his youngest son?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's worse.
Yeah. Oh, final piece of this little bit of news with the Rachael bit was that the Bachelorette players from Tayshia's season are basically unionizing against the Bachelor franchise. Basically because they said, as members of season 16 of The Bachelorette, it is important that we acknowledge where we stand at this time. We had the opportunity to be part of one of the most diverse casts in the history of the franchise. The addition of more people who identify as BIPOC has opened up the conversation on race, community, and who we are as people, a conversation that has been long overdue. We stand united in denouncing racist behavior and any defense thereof. We also stand united with the women of season 25 of The Bachelor who have denounced the same. Moreover, we stand united with Rachel Lindsay, who has led the way. And that was shared by Joseph.
Joseph. Oh, Joseph. The Asian guy.
Yeah. Joseph Park.
Yeah, it was the anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, props to him. I mean, yes, something that needs to be spoken up about.
Yeah.
At least they united like that.
This was Joe, who a little bit of reminder, I probably should have just called him Joe. We love Joe. Everyone wants him to be the first Asian Bachelor. That's a little like refresher. Because he's just smart. He was funny. He ate ramen with Tayshia, and they seemed like they had a great time.
He taught her work on me.
Yeah, it was so sweet. We love him.
We really do. Honestly, he is what we deserve. We don't deserve any more whitewash. We don't deserve any more conservative, like, basically, we deserve people who respect people.
We
I'll
deserve
put it like that.
people who respect people, who can make space for differing opinions and hear them out, but also be respectful with one another and understanding that we all come from different places. And like at the end of the day, we can still love each other, you know?
Exactly, that we're all human in the end, not because of our color, not because of our culture, not because of our religion or sexual orientation, like this and that. Like we're just all humans.
Also, last bit of news I heard was Reality Steve had put out, I mentioned yesterday's little spoiler warning for who the Bachelorette was going to be, according to Reality Steve's piece of news. According to him, it was Katie. Well, Katie has put out a statement since where she said, "This is news to me," basically. And The Bachelor, like franchise itself, put out a statement basically saying that no such decision has been made yet, and there's still negotiations and discussion about it. And so basically, Reality Steve's got is shared another piece of information, which seemingly is happening more and more frequently.
What Reality Steve, like his information he exposes?
Yeah, it's happened a few times in recent years where he's shared information that's completely inaccurate or will like lead people really astray. And I think it's because the Bachelor franchise itself is maybe trying to sabotage him a bit. I think they're
Oh,
trying to make him because he always says, "Oh, well, I have connections," because he knows some of the producers and things like that that work on the show. Well, I think that they're starting to, because he's basically ruined several seasons because he caught on and would spoil it for everybody. I think that they're now paying people off to spread misinformation to him so that
I
people stop
mean,
trusting him.
unless the Bachelor and Katie are covering it up and saying, "Oh no, like that's completely false," and we'll just wait till the women tell all, and that's when they're like, "Oh, actually, it was true."
Well, they already filmed the Women Tell All, and that's what they said. They're not announcing it at the Women Tell All, apparently, or at least from what they filmed thus far. They did not announce who the Bachelorette's going to be because they don't know. Because they already filmed the Women Tell All.
Now I am confused. I mean, if Katie doesn't end up being the Bachelorette or they haven't chosen yet, she's in the running for sure. Like her ending scene, like it just proved it. Like I don't know. She's definitely up there. I mean, who else is up there? Someone from like Peter's season or something. Hannah Ann, honestly. Hannah Ann could be up there too.
Anna, maybe. Honestly, though, I feel like Peter's season's so outdated. Like, they wouldn't do that. I could
Also,
see maybe Brie.
Brie. Oh my god, yes.
But
Or
at the same
honestly,
time,
Champagne Girl could be it.
Champagne Girl?
Yes, Kelsey.
Kelsey, yeah,
Remember?
I'm like remembering this right. I'm like, that was a few seasons ago though. And it was the whole like Hannah Ann
Yeah, that
situation.
season.
Yeah.
Like honestly, after they chose Claire to be the Bachelorette, like anything is possible at this point.
Yeah. Or
Honestly,
could
Katie
we get
Mo.
somebody we could get say he doesn't end up with Michelle. Michelle could be an option.
Oh my god, Michelle. Bro, she deserves it. She's a badass woman.
I think Michelle did a lot of research on Matt before going on the show. I think like she like Googled him and figured everything out.
She wrote like a whole like 5-page like paper on him probably. Like she did research.
Well, remember how you said, "Oh, I think she like figured out that the Maya Angelou quote was his favorite one, so she prepped that." Here's the thing. I think you might be right because apparently he references something regarding Maya Angelou on his Instagram page way down in a post at one point in time. And it's like if she had just stalked him, she would know.
No, for sure. I mean, honestly, when they both pulled out that quote, I'm like, something does not seem right. That is not possible. You guys can know the same quote unless it's some kind of weird fate. Because this is the Bachelor. This is not weird fate.
Right. Literally. So anyways, I think that's and do you have any batch tea that we
No,
missed?
I think that was we covered most of it.
I think so too. Yeah, so I think that concludes our little mini update episode.
Exactly. So we shall see you guys next week for the next recap for the next episode of The Bachelor with Matt and whoever else is left.
Whoever else is left, we will see. All right. Well, this was here for the Instagram followers. I'm Willow.
And Maritza, bye.
Bye.